Dear God, thank you for your amazing power and work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you for your great love and care. Thank you for your sacrifice so that we may have freedom and life. Forgive us for when we don't thank you enough for who you are, for all that you do, for all that you've given. Help us to set our eyes and our hearts afresh. Renew our spirits. Fill us with your peace and joy. We love you and we need you this day and every day. We give you praise and thanks, for you alone are worthy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Amanda. You may be seated. While you're taking your seats, I just want to remind everybody about the cart bucket sitting on your table. We've done some really good fundraising lately, and I've got some news to report in just a few minutes, but please don't forget the cart fund. We had a couple folks with some work emergencies, and we're not able to be here for fellowship, so I am going to fill in and introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. I've never done this before. I think I figured it out. I've seen it done a few times. I don't think we have any visiting Rotarians. And if I'm incorrect, please raise your hand. Okay, that's what I thought. And so if you have a guest with you, if you would please stand and introduce your guest. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Catherine Davis, and I'm happy to have join me for lunch today our daughter, Lauren Davis Green, who's Vice President at Synovus Bank here in Columbia, and I think she's on her 10th anniversary. Yay!
Hello everybody, I'm Lee Lumpkin from Columbia Classic Ballet with some members of my board, the most fabulous board anyone can have. Executive assistant to the board is Roberta Smith. She's just joined us in July. Please stand, Roberta. We're so glad. My announcement, who has been here only about a year less than me, because we've been 21 years, she's our engine. It's so grateful. Stephanie Sullivan, she's to the board, and it's just a gift. She's just our gift. Is our great President John Meadows. He will be running tomorrow to bring ethics back to the office of solicitor. Please don't forget him tomorrow. He's our independent candidate. He is also President-elect of the Camden Rotary, John Meadows. Here is our very special guest today, Radenko Pavlovich. He will be introducing you later to our amazing dancer. He is the one and only Radenko Pavlovich.
Thank you. I'm Kay Shaw, and on behalf of our scholarship committee, we are thrilled to have today Kennedy Fee. Kennedy is one of our two 2018 scholarship winners from Columbia Rotary. She is a former Dreher high school student, and she's now Clemson University majoring in nursing. Very proud to have Kennedy's father, Calvin Fee. Calvin works at Michelin in Lexington. Please welcome Calvin.
Hi, I'm David Radenko with Prescott Bank, and I have with me today Shelley Clark. Shelley's our branch manager for West Columbia office.
Welcome to all of our visitors today. It's great to have you. We hope you'll come back. And a special welcome to you, Kennedy. It's great to see you. It's great to see you doing so much with your scholarship. And Calvin, we know you're very proud of your daughter. So great to see you guys. Now, it's the day before Election Day, so it's time for health and happiness. And we have past President Rusty the Past doing it for us. So it should be good. It should be entertaining. I'm looking forward to this. Rusty, come on up.
Thank you, President Stephen. Mike Bedinger asked me if I was going to dance today, and I assured him that I was not. In fact, I really don't even have anything much to say about the election. Aren't you kind of tired of it? I am, and I'm a junkie. Anyway, I would like to encourage everyone to vote. I just don't know anybody who doesn't vote. And so it's very difficult for me to get a handle around on something that where somebody would feel that it's not worth its time to do it. And there are some awful good people, as Lee mentioned with John. There's some awful good people on the ballot, and so I encourage you to vote. Let me begin with a bit of a sad note. Charlotte Castles, whose husband Bill Castles was the president of this club in 1962. Died last week, and her funeral service was yesterday, and she had suffered from Alzheimer's for quite a number of years, and but it was a great tribute, and I'm sure she was a lovely lady. Carrie Powers informs us that her son is in the River Bluff High School Gator Band, and that they placed 5th in the state 5A band competition. This is their first year at 5A. I didn't even know they had 5A schools in South Carolina. I think 4 was the most. They may have only had 3 when I came along. But Hal Stevenson allows how his daughter Noelle is featured in the entertainment section of the New York Times yesterday for her upcoming Netflix series, animated series entitled Shera, S-H-E-R-A, whatever that means.
She-Ra!
She-Ra,
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I guess you just have to kind of know those Stevensons. But, and speaking of Stevensons, his daughter Hannah is engaged to be married, and that'll happen sometime next spring, I understand. Now, I don't know whether this is equal to that kind of accomplishment, but I'm sure that 8-year-old Mac Creech, son of President Stevens, certainly thinks it's pretty significant because he killed his first deer yesterday. And really, you ought to bring him so we can applaud. Congratulations to Clemson and Carolina in their respective wins. I went up to the Clemson game and confessed that I probably spent more time watching Ohio State and South Carolina than I did watching the Clemson game, but it was very pleasing. Somehow, a blowout is kind of fun every once in a while, and John Denise allows us how he thinks Carolina now knows what it's like to score 48 points. Of course, they gave up almost that many, but nonetheless, scored 48 points. And John Denise, by the way, claims to be the youngest senior active ever in the Columbia Rotary Club. Can anybody beat 54 years old? John, you may have it, after all. You know, I remember when John, has he left? Oh. I remember when John joined this club, and he looked like he was just barely old enough to have a driver's license, and it's hard to imagine he is a senior actor. I want to remind a few of you who have managed to get away from me, if you're here today, Will Anderson, Linda Carpenter, Molly Clarkson, Amy Beth Franks, James Fuller, Jim Griffin, Charlene Rhodes, Brent Skinner, Cheryl Swanson, and Brad Wright. Please let me take your picture so we can quit doing this, I sure would appreciate it. I want to mention something, and I hope this is the kind of thing that drives presidents like Stephen crazy. But I want to mention something that came up after I introduced Kirkman Finley to the club back in September. Those of you who are here may recall that I made a reference to his inherited wealth and mentioned that that Marshall Kibler, whom I used to work with, had called people like that members of the Lucky Sperm Club. And now I happen to think that's funny, but I understand that there was at least one of you who didn't think it was funny. And so I have spent, let's just say I've spent a lot of time since then trying to evaluate that and evaluate I'm serious now, and evaluate the words that I use and the context in which I use them. And I have concluded that given all the advertisements that we are subjected to on the television and the language that we are subjected to on the radio and on television and everywhere, and I'm certainly not promoting it, that if you are offended by a joke like that, I think you may have your sensitivity meter set a little bit too high. Now that's just my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. But I would ask you to consider if maybe you need to dial it back, just a tad. And I appreciate the opportunity to say that. Now, to the funny part, hopefully, of health and happiness. I read last week that 4,153,237 people got married last year. And I don't want to cause anybody any problem, but shouldn't that be an even number? This is just a little homespun philosophy, but now if I had $1 for every girl that found me unattractive, sooner or later she'd find me attractive. Now I do find it ironic, as I'm sure many of you do, that the colors red, white, and blue stand for freedom until they are flashing behind you. Then they don't really stand for that. A recent study has found that women who carry a little extra weight live longer than men who mention it to them. You know that tingly feeling you get when you like someone? That's your common sense leaving your body. My therapist says that my narcissism causes me to misread social situations. I'm pretty sure she was hitting on me. Denny's has a slogan. If it's your birthday, the meal is on us. If you're in Denny's and it's your birthday, your life stinks. I think that's pretty much a given. And finally, I want to tell you that the reason Mayberry was so peaceful and quiet was because nobody was married. Think about that. Andy, Aunt Bee, Barney, Floyd, Howard, Goober, Gomer, Sam, Ernest T. Bass, Helen, Thelma Lou, Clara, and of course Opie were all single. The only married person was Otis, and he stayed drunk all the time.
Thank you so much, Rusty. I appreciate you pulling double duty today on the piano and doing health and happiness and all for all you do checking on members. I really don't know what to say other than that. That was hilarious. Some funny things. A couple of announcements from me. I need your help. We are doing the Salvation Army bell ringing campaign, and we are short a few captains. Doug Cochran is our chairman of this effort. Doug, where are you? If you don't mind standing up. Doug is over here wearing the blue Rotary apron. If you are interested in being a captain, I would encourage you to see Doug after this meeting. In fact, if you're not interested in being a captain, I'd ask you to see Doug after. We've got about 12 more spots that we need to fill. We've had a pretty good response so far, but as you know, we have an early Thanksgiving this year, so the holidays are a little longer, and the campaign starts a little bit earlier. We have an online sign-up that you can do if you go to www.columbiarotaryclub.com or .org. You can sign up for any shift, and I would encourage you to be a captain, and here's why. It's easy. You take there's 5 shifts, 5 2-hour slots, I think, and to be a captain for a day. You pick one of them, so you and a friend, you and a fellow Rotarian serve one. And then you ask Rotarians if they can fill the others. If they can't, you ask your friends and family, churchgoers, whoever that wants to fill a shift, and it's very easy. I sent one email last year, and within 20 minutes I had all my shifts filled, and it was that easy because I went to people that I knew would like to do it. And I hear stories from their day. We all shared a day over at Green, so it's pretty easy to do. So please see Doug if you haven't already about being a captain. November 19th is 2 weeks from today, and that is the week of Thanksgiving, believe it or not. We're not meeting that day, so just put that on your calendars. November 28th is going to be our Rotary Holiday Social, and it's going to be at Prado's, and I'm going to let Lee tell you a little bit more about that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's 5:30 to 7:30. She's got more details than I do, but I want to make sure that that's on everybody's calendar because I can't believe the fourth quarter's here and the end of the year's flying by. And the last announcement I have, I'd like to thank you. So, as you know, October was Polio Awareness Month in the world. You know about what Rotary International does for that and for the Polio Fund. Mason Party got up here and he mentioned that we wanted to take advantage of the district match, and that we needed as many people who were giving to Rotary International to give this month, and we would designate those funds toward the Polio Fund, toward Polio Plus. We had 47 people take advantage of that, and our club raised $5,184. So please give yourself a round. That's tremendous, and I just want to say, it's nice to know that when we ask for things like that, people are listening and taking advantage of it, and I really appreciate it. We are running a little bit ahead of schedule, but that's a good thing because we have a really special program today. And now I'm going to turn it over to Lee Lumpkin to tell you a little bit about it.
Hello, everybody. We are so delighted to bring our story of Columbia Classical Ballet to you, and we just thank you all for being here, and thank you, Club, for allowing this wonderful hour for us. I'm going to do part of the program, then Radenko is going to come up and tell you wonderful things about the company with his dancers. But I want to tell you a little bit about our journey together because it really has been fun and very unconventional. I met Radenko Pavlovich. I left a voicemail for many dance studios. Actually, my beloved daughter brought the world of ballet to me. And I got a phone call from him, and I said, we're actually looking for a jazz teacher. Do you have a jazz teacher at your ballet school? And this amazing accent came across, absolutely, and come Monday. And of course, we came Monday, and there was one student, my daughter, and a brand new teacher hired the day before who was an amazing jazz teacher. And I think that was the beginning of my realization that things would be a little different. They would be not traditional, unconventional, but the way they would work would always be with artistic excellence. We began together, I think it was December the 27th, 1996, and Radenko asked me to be on his board. I walked into the board meeting. I'd never been on a board, needless to say, and the president of the Columbia Classical Ballet handed in her resignation and walked out. That was in December. We started getting ready for an event 6 weeks later, and then in April, Radenko and that resigned president took off to New York and hired 6 dancers and came back with 6 contracts and said, board, find a way to make this work. We want to move from a civic ballet company to a professional company. Now, we all had our small businesses and we were at home with our families, but we were very, very challenged by this. Now, we've never seen anything operate this way before, nor since, but I want you to know he chose 6 dancers that were not only the principals of our company, They were later principals for City Ballet, and they also danced with John Whitehead at Carolina Ballet. And they were really part of the community. And that began our journey of international dancers. And I will tell you, when you're out there fighting the fight for these amazing internationals that come into our country and want to dance here in America for us, there's just almost nothing like it in life. 21 or 20 years ago, we had so many dancers from Hungary to Ukraine, Eastern Europe. Then a few years later, our Latino dancers came to us, and it was just wild and wonderful. In the last few years, we've been so blessed, Japan, China, Korea, and to have that influence. Every year it's different. So it's always collective, there's no sameness, and it always keeps us very excited and very, very challenged. Something else that we absolutely loved about this company that was established way before I got there was they did something called Life Chance. And it's called One Night for a Better Day, but it's a gala where Radenko brings in all these dancers from all over the country and actually all over the world. They bring their own costumes, they bring their own CDs, they dance their favorite numbers. Many used to compete against each other. Many others went to school together. They were chosen from their country at 3 and 4 and lived at Hungarian ballet academies, etc. So they have a ball when they come. And then it was Radenko's idea. Let's celebrate another nonprofit. So each year we celebrate a nonprofit, and it's so much fun. We don't have a lot of money to give to because sub-granting is no longer allowed, but we have 2 donors that give directly. This year it will be PALS, the therapy dogs. Last year it was Heroes in Blue because Carrie brought that speaker here, and I just thought she was amazing. And each person on our wonderful board kind of gets a turn at choosing who we believe in. And I would right now like to ask all of you to be our guests for the gala. It's January 26th. I can't give you all a ballet ticket because they don't let me do everything they let me used to do. But I can tell you that we do a party that the ballet board pays for. It's at our home. About 250 people come. The dancers all come. It's just fabulous. And the whole public is invited. And what I love about it is something that Wendy Nance said years and years ago. She said, Lee, this one night we're all united in the arts. Now tomorrow we're going to go back in the trenches and we're going to start competing. But not tonight. Tonight we're all one. And I feel that way that one night a year that we're all one, and there's something wonderful about that. It was at Life Chance probably about 18 years ago that Elgin Middle School were our guests. We had guests for all our events, but that night, Elgin Middle School, and Brooklyn Mack was in the audience. And that amazing young man saw his first ballet, fell in love with it, asked Radenko to teach him, and the rest is history. He is the most medal dancer in the world today, and he shares his time with DC, with Russia, and South Africa. And I think it was 2 years ago that he called Radenko during one of our ballets, and he said, I'm on my 27th curtain call here in Russia. I mean, he's such a phenomenon. And he's ours, and he's Radenko's. And it just, of course, makes us really, really proud. It was in March of 2016 that Brooklyn Mack and Misty Copeland came to do a fundraiser for both the ballets. Our studios were completely destroyed by the flood. But I will tell you, Williams' company, John's company, we all were suffering with attendance. Everybody had different priorities. We were all rebuilding our homes. So they came, and what was so very, very interesting about it, they came but not to dance. And so every ticket was $100. We had so many expenses. I was not comfortable with it, but it's what it was. And Misty Copeland spoke for 2 minutes, and then Brooklyn Mack spoke for another 2 minutes. Now, this is an hour-and-a-half event. So we were like, oh my goodness, but we had the most marvelous mistress of ceremonies, Libby Gober. She says, we're open for questions, and thank goodness we had an hour of fun, and very innovative questioning. So it's been a great journey. It was a lot of fun. I will tell you, when William Sterrett called me in the car and said, I've heard from the agents, they want to do a ballet fundraiser for us together. I literally had to stop my car. I was like, oh my word, how are we going to do this? And Free Time then said, I think even more exciting than Misty and Brooklyn coming, or that Radenko and William are going to do this gala together. We were very successful, and I would have to say on both boards, we really did have a good time. And it's been one of my most pleasant memories, actually, in all these years. I have been so proud of our acclaimed artistry. We're known for that. Radenko is known all over the world. And I will tell you, when the two of us were in D.C. at the Kennedy Center and opened that playbill, and 4 of their principals had begun with Columbia Classical Ballet, I was spellbound. You know, I knew we were coming to see Misty and Brooklyn. The applause was so long, everything was late to start. But reading that playbill with Columbia Classical Ballet, it just, of course, made me doubly proud. But there is something else I think that makes me equally, if not more proud, and that is our mission of outreach. Every nonprofit does wonderful outreach, and we're so proud of them. But nobody does it the way we do. I just want to tell you, at the Coder Center this season, we will have 22,000 people come. 10,000 will come completely free of charge, not one penny. Another 5,000 will come on a $5 ticket. That's all they can afford. That's it. The next 6,000 or 7,000 balance will be the ones that actually can afford a ticket, between $15 and $32. So you can see how small our sales are, which means we have to rely very heavily on our great, great government. And I will tell you, Richland County Council and City Council have been unbelievable to us. And we've got to honor that mission, and we never don't honor it. But they believe in us, and they have fought the fight, the hospitality committees. We're just so beholden to them because our mission is so critically important to us. I will tell you that I want to say just one thing about our board. We're all volunteers. We're so blessed to have a new executive to the board and a wonderful executive assistant, but we all try to do what we do in between all the other things we do. We have assignments. And without each one of us, it just doesn't happen. But we believe so powerfully in our mission and, of course, in him. And I want to tell you that I believe I can, without question, speak for my board of while we're here. We actually fell in love with the man Radenko Pavlovich. And then we fell in love with his vision and his passion, as well as his mission. So, of course, it's just my greatest pleasure to introduce my old and great friend, Radenko Pavlovich.
I don't know what to say after this speech, but I mean, I can't let anybody talk after it. But anyway, I really want to thank you very much for having us. As you said, my name is Radenko Pavlovich. I came to Columbia way back, I think, 1986 or 1987. But I finished my career as a dancer, and I came to Columbia and I thought, well, this is interesting. It's halfway in between Miami and halfway in between New York. Mountains are close, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the beach is about an hour and a half. So I decided to stay in Columbia, and everything after that just fell in place. As Lee said, our journey started together as a starting professional ballet company, and she's been a very key element to bringing the money and organizing everything. I put the arts together, but she's really major, I don't know what it is. Something like a major. She operates the Columbia Classic Ballet. Anyway, the Columbia Classic Ballet, as she mentioned, is an international ballet company. We have dancers from all around the world, from China, from Korea, Japan, and one from France, believe it or not. But and what is absolutely amazing in Columbia, South Carolina, we have in our company is about 30 professional dancers, and we have 5 medalists. We have 3 gold medalists, which means they competed against the best dancers in the world. And we had, so 5 medalists, 3 gold and 2 silver, which puts us in probably one of the few companies in Southeast that have this many medalists. And this is Columbia Classic Ballet in Columbia, South Carolina. We have, today, obviously the space is not big enough, but we're going to try to show you a couple of numbers that you picked. We just finished the season, we finished the ballet Corsair, Pirate, which was very successful. It's one of my favorite ballets. And we go to West Virginia also. We do 3 times a year. We go to West Virginia, we do performances. West Virginia, then Columbia. But the person, the male dancer right there, over there is Clement. He's from France. He's one of the gold medalists. That was last year, he won a gold medal. And right next to him is Riha. She's from Japan. She's a principal dancer in Columbia Classic Ballet. And one and only Jin So from South Korea. He's a 2-time gold medalist, world gold medalist, and this is his first season in Columbia Classic Ballet. Now, these are very short numbers, and I was very concerned also about the floor, so we don't want anybody to get hurt. But we will try to show you just a little bit. First number is going to be Pas de Deux from Le Corsair, and the second number is, it's kind of funny, you will enjoy it very much, and you will know that the music immediately. So I will try to help them with the music, and then we go with it. So you have to do
stars can't stand it anymore. So here's what happened when you were napping. I just went up for a snack. I was feeling famished and then I vanished. But now I'm back. Now he's back. Now he's back. Now he's back. My heart is burning for that love of ours, yearning for that sea of stars. Let me in so I can prove to you that no one else can love you, girl, the way that I do. Oh, how I miss you, I want to kiss you and hold you close from dusk until dawn. So let's just make up, and when you wake up, I promise not to be gone. You know I love you, dream only of you, so please, please cut me some slack. I went away just a couple of days, but now I'm back. Now he's back. Now he's back. Now he's back. She's back. I guess that maybe you're still a little angry with me, but it's getting late and my boys are waiting. Gotta get something to eat. Better go now, hope you know now I love you, that is a fact. Gotta hurry, but don't you worry, baby, 'cause I'll be back. You'll be back. Can I get you? I'll be back. It's a fact. You'll see. He'll be back. It's a fact. He'll be back.
I hope you enjoyed it.
And of course, we're all, including the dancers, open to any questions that you might have. It'd be our pleasure.
How do you recruit all these international dancers to come here?
Let me give you to the man.
So, 2006, when Brooklyn got his first medal in Jackson, Mississippi, a lot of dancers from around the world, they knew I trained them, so a lot of them wanted to come to work with me. So I get the videos and requests from all around the world. People trying to get into Columbia Classic Ballet. So every year I probably get about 200 and something applicants for the job, and then I go through the list and call to the schools where they're from, or the companies, to find out about how they are, the characters. So yeah, they all come from overseas. Did that answer the question? I hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit the difference between the Columbia City Ballet and your ballet? Are you competitors? Are you friendly competitors? Do you work together? Do you do different things?
We might both want to address it.
So what I believe, this is just that classical ballet is something that needs to be preserved, and it needs to pass as artistic director, I believe it's meant to pass it to the next generation. Otherwise, we will close the museums, everything will be finished. And I do believe I believe in new work, without question, new work, and contemporary and neoclassical. But the classical ballet is the base for everything. And as Lee mentioned earlier, with the educational program, my goal is to, even to the kids that they've never seen ballet before, if they come, I'm sorry, you can't hear me, I'm sorry. So I believe that even when they come the first time to see the ballet, they're going to like it. Because as you can tell, it's very athletic. So it's just not how people how they perceive what ballet is. So I'm very much a believer in a classical ballet and contemporary ballet. Now the Columbia City Ballet, they are more, they're not the classicals, but their focus, main goal is on theatrical stuff, which is a place for that too, without question. But my vision is very different than their vision.
And how I love to put it is that Radenko's really a purist. I mean, that's really the truth. And when we do Nutcracker in the morning for the children, we do the whole thing. I mean, both acts. And I mean, that's his love, and that's who he is. And actually, in terms of competition, of course, we're competitors because of our funding. But I will tell you, for anyone that was part of the Misty Copeland Brooklyn MAC event, we just came together and filled each other's gaps. And I do believe when we were all jumping in the car to go fundraise, I just know they had as much fun as I did because we're still our artists. You know, I always remember William saying that Dracula just kind of came to them by chance. It just happened. You know, it was successful. And we have come under fire many years ago by many people we love for doing another Nutcracker. There was a lot of hostility that we would duplicate. And all I knew to really say to everybody was, we have a right to make money to support our programming. And almost everybody in the world needs to do Nutcracker because that's the one thing everybody really wants to come to. And it's just the truth. You know, we're just competitive almost because of our funding. But we have joined together, let me tell you, in front of the councils to get what we need to get done, and we're respectful of the differences. It's a very interesting thing because we also have the Civic Ballet, and we also have the USC Ballet. We have a lot of ballet. And so we have to stand out. And I always think we stand out because he's a purist, and then his outreach is, and then his generosity. At Life Chance is just kind of, well, that's the reason I love him. So, any more questions? We love them.
What is the West Virginia connection and how did that happen?
Well, about 8 years ago, Kim Powley, who runs the West Virginia Ballet in Charleston, West Virginia, she called me on the phone and asked me would I be interested as joining forces, actually as bringing all the professional dancers to West Virginia, and she offered very generous compensation, or I think that's the word. So we tried the first year. The first year was a Nutcracker, and it was very successful. So we became really close friends, and I think it's been now about 6 or 7 years we've been doing that. So we go there for a whole week. They put us in a wonderful hotel, and all dancers love it. They perform it. So it's great. That's how that journey became with Charleston, West Virginia.
And we're also considered the West Virginia Ballet because Charleston, West Virginia is just so alive in the arts. And so when Radenko began this affiliation, it was for one ballet. Now we go there for a week. And so it gives our amazing dancers more performance opportunities, and the compensation is quite excellent. It's a big sponsorship for us. It's just a win-win-win, and it's a wonderful relationship. We have packed houses, and we strive for those big packed houses here as well because, you know, they just can't get enough of us there. So it's a feel-good, it's a win-win.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. And also they have 4 theaters in Charleston, West Virginia, and the city has been declining, the population, I was told, is now it's probably about 50% people are moving out of Charleston, West Virginia due to the economy and everything. But the arts, believe it or not, it's unreal. Every time we perform in front of the full house. So yeah, I'm just really, really pleased with that.
Cynthia.
On your posters over here, it shows that there's sponsorship opportunities. Is that how our business can help your
It is, and I know we were asked not to promote ourselves too much financially here, so I'm being a little bit cautious, but absolutely. And I will tell you, half of this room, I would love to call out for all the amazing things they have done for outreach sponsorship and for corporate sponsorship across the shield, for everyone on those posters. It absolutely is. And then there's a way, you know, we think big too, but for $100, a person can sponsor 20 children to a show at $5 a piece. So we love that. We have, oh my gosh, Palmetto Health, Smith Dre, and I have to mention Fisher Communications, who was there way before me, doing all the media free. I see Glenn back there, always doing an ad, and Hal, oh my gosh, what we do without Grace, it's so amazing. I see Dot, who began us on some of our first funding in Cultural Council. All of you, and I know I've probably not mentioned somebody amazing that gave us a start to get us here. And it's and Bill over there on the hospitality committee. Oh my gosh, Libby fighting the fight to get our check for payroll on time. And there's just sponsorship from in-kind to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 and to buy ads. Anyway, we're so appreciative. And I'm sure every 501c in here feels just like that.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you to all of your dancers for being here. Lee, thank you for bringing this program to us today. It really was fantastic and something different. We appreciate all you do, Radenko, to bring the arts to Columbia. Thank you. I spoke to President-elect Louisa last week, and she sounded good. Sounds like she's recovering. She's had a couple setbacks, but she's very focused on Rotary, making sure we continue to have great programs. Sunday is Veterans Day, and the day after we will have our Veterans Day program. Bill Dukes and Dr. Omura from the VA are coming to discuss the Veterans Honor Flight. We're going to have 17 veterans from World War II and the Korean War. Many of you gave to cover the cost of their meals and also to cover the cost of their caregivers who will be with them. Thank you for that. Hal, are you aware that there's still a need there?
I think I've got plenty, but what we're going to do, because we don't know exactly how many people are going to be here, after the event we have it, I'll just get Debbie to put it on bills for the next building.
Great. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you all for your generosity for that. And with that, we will close in song.